what you're saying. I'm understanding your question to mean, is it because our parents, our mothers specifically, made us girls do more than the boys? You're saying, is that why we are stronger now?
Absolutely. Could that be one of the contributing factors to just women now are suddenly, doing everything?
As a matter of fact, I think not. I think it's the rebellious part of us that's making us stronger now. And I say this as an example. I'll use myself as an example. I'm from a very large family. There's 8 of us. And the boys is equally split. And my mother is one of those people that Sharniya said, which is, the boys don't go into the kitchen, boys don't do this. They have to go there and be hunters. And the women have got to sit at home and look after the house and, I'm the youngest, and I didn't know I was rebelling. I didn't know, modern day calls it feminism. It wasn't any of that for me. For me, it was like, why does he get to, and why can't I get to? And I want to go hunting with them too. Not literally, but like I wanted to do what they did. And my mom's like, no, you're a girl. Don't do this and don't do, and I didn't understand it. I was like, why are they having, for me, they were having too much fun. They were playing football, they were doing this. And then I'm supposed to be with the girls and pretend to cook with sand.
To be knitting hair, doing stuff.
It used to really drive me insane. I didn't want it and I fought against it. I didn't want to be in the kitchen. I'd forget it. My mom would be like, go cook. Nope. I would sit and cry until she said, you know what, this child, you are evil, get out. And I would...
a tomboy.
I was a tomboy. You're right. I was a tomboy. But I didn't realize that, I think, for me, my independence has been like I rebelled against all those things. I didn't, like I said, it wasn't like I had feminism in my head. It was just, I wanted to be
who I want
to be. Yeah, can I just be me? Yeah. So I think now, actually, if you ask me, I think it's rebelliousness that's making us become stronger. Of course, the things that our parents taught us or our mothers taught us is good because, it meant we can stand on our own and do our own things without having to look for somebody to do it for us. But at the same time, it's that idea of, what do you mean I can't do that? Of course I can. Yes, I'm going to go out there and, get myself a job, do this, paint my own, flat, do this. I think it's rebelliousness more than anything else. But then it's been buttered nicely with all those things that our mom taught us.
Brilliant. Any other guys have any takers?
Do you know what? I think, Sharniya, you do raise a valid point. And what I would agree to is, like, in the professional world, there's a push for cross-skilling and in many ways upskilling as well. So you want to have a team where everyone can pretty much do each other's jobs. Yeah. And to a large extent, I do agree that with the way things are now, you should be able to do things. Both of you, both the men and the women should be able to do things together. So I'm not a great cook, but my wife she's an amazing cook. So she does predominantly all the cooking in the house. Now, Indomie, which is a very wonderful Nigerian dish,
that's the only thing you can cook.
That's what I'm exceptional at that.
You are on national TV.
I am,
and you are owning.
It's fine. It's cool.
The 3-minute noodles.
I make
Power to you. Power to you.
Indomie noodles.
Did you just hear that?
Honestly, we are in minority here.
That is good.
We are in minority here.
I'm speaking for myself, because
what is going on with the men?
But where I'm driving at is this, she cooks amazingly. I'm not very good at it. But there are other things that I do in the house. So I do the laundry, the cleaning, and all those kind of things. Not because she can't do them, but because as a result of me not being a great cook,
can I just pack you there? Do you still need a reminder for those things to be done?
No, I don't. No.
Are you sure?
Of course.
Okay, we're going to give him a round of applause.
I know, right?
Where Joe is driving at. What are you trying to say?
Because apparently it seems as though even the things that you guys feel like you're doing very well, you still need to be reminded. So it's a case of, who then reminds us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who then reminds us to do our own bit? Yeah. I'm just going to park there because I think we need to have a little bit of more sort of real life scenarios. So I've got another question for you guys now, all about Miss Independent, 21st century woman. We're seeing women nowadays trying to do a lot more things without the men. So let's talk about the sperm donors. Women now want to go to the sperm bank to get different samples, whatever, match, Caribbean, Caucasian, whatever. Will you be willing, forget about the religious bit and the cultural bit, will you be willing to help another woman by being a sperm donor anonymously?
For me personally, no. I think procreation has to be, procreation shouldn't be transactional. I think the ultimate end of procreation is due to a certain set of circumstances that should come naturally. That's my personal belief. However, we live in a world where I've always told we have historical and cultural baggages. Let's use ourselves as example, Africans. It's like there's a set measure. So you go to school, especially for the ladies. You go to school, and maybe if you get to university, you are done university. Now you need to. Where is it? We are not seeing any man. No. You need to be bringing a man. It's a baggage. Not everybody will marry. It's just another choice in life.
And I remember we've had this conversation before.
It's no joke. Religion, you have the religious angle where they force people, you have the cultural angle, and so many people are married and unhappy. They are not married, but there are people who don't want to be married, but they want to be mothers.
Absolutely.
And they want to be fathers.
Absolutely.
It's important. Challenge. I've had this debate with so many women, typically women, who they want to have children, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that without settling down. But will you let the man know that that's your plan? Will you let that man?
No. So this is we're going to come to that later. Yes. But this is the sperm donor. You have given yourself to just help the community, right?
No, I'm not helping. No. Don't put it that way. Why should I help? Why should I help?
No, because we do have sperm banks, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And women will go. They'll give you the
it's not to help the community. It's not because you are and it's personally my belief is procreation should be as a result of these instances. Now, outside of that, I would struggle to be able to commit to that because I think raising a child is one of the most important and special things in the world, and there are circumstances where certain couples, they marry and they realize, okay, maybe the man has a low sperm count and he can't have a child and they need to resort to another means. I'm cool with that. That's fine, and the lady wants to live, she wants to have a life, I don't want to be married, but want to have, if you can have a conversation with whoever the man is, and he agrees to it, great. The challenge most of the time is women make these decisions in their mind. And I have living examples where they now meet up with men, and she knows, I just want to have a nail. They pick up the nail, okay, I want him, he has to be 65, he has to be cerebral, he has to be this, and they get into a relationship specifically.
Just to have a
child without the man in the know. That's where the challenge. Okay, where I have a child.
Okay, so that is a different twist. We'll come back to that in a different scenario. It's a bit different from where we're going, but we'll definitely come back to that. Given the situation of I can find a man, would you? Is it something that you would consider to get a sperm donor? You just can't find yourself the right man, but you definitely want children.
Okay, so for me personally, I wouldn't. But having said that, I do not have a problem with any woman who wants to do. Is there a reason why you wouldn't? Simply because I really want that unit. That's me. It's just a choice that I've made. I want a unit. I want a family. You could put it down to my background. Like I said, I've got 7, 8 siblings, and they're all happily married and installed. And I look at them and I'm like, I want that. And and again, it's about being true to yourself. This is what I want. I want a man. I want a family life. I want children. I want to live in a home. That is what I want. Okay. If somebody comes to me and says, I don't necessarily want all of that, I just want the baby. A very good friend of mine just adopted a baby. She's single. And she went out there and she said, I want a child. And exactly like you said, I can't find a man. I've been trying to date and it's not worked, but I want a child or 2. And she went and she adopted a child. And I'm so happy for her because clearly she's identified what she thinks will truly make her happy and she's gone for it. So I have no condemnation whatsoever for them. But for me, I wouldn't go for it because even if I did, I have this feeling in my head, in my body that I would still want more. So are
you the mixed historical and 21st century?
Is it clearly a mixed history. It's not just the historical. It's not just a historical woman that wants.
Maybe not Sharniya.
I don't think it's a mix because I think that when you talk about the 21st century woman or the modern person, we are all informed by our history, and that's a fact of history that has been kind of instilled into us going on, that's what you need to do to have a family. Now, I guess where I probably am coming at it from a different perspective, I've grown up in a situation where myself and a few of my cousins, we've ended up being raised by single mothers. My parents were together. They broke up when I was quite young. My father was always in the picture, and I have a very good relationship with my dad's family still and my mom's family, but I was raised by a single mother. So for me, growing up and seeing a lot of my aunties, my mom, these amazing women in my life raising children alone, I always had this idea that I'd probably end up doing it alone anyway. And when I say that to people, they look at me in shock and like, what do you mean? Why do you think that? But it's just that image that I always had for my child and for myself. I think the ideal is to have not just two parents, mum and a dad. I think the ideal is actually having a wonderful family, friends, community of loads of people who love your child, your children, and who are there for them. But ultimately, things can happen where you can start off with the great best intentions of, I go down the traditional path, I got married, I have children, and God forbid, one of the parents dies, people break up, people become ill and aren't able to look after their children in the same way. And you can end up being a single parent anyway by default. And one thing, I was having a conversation with my mom and we were kind of disagreeing about it a little bit because she was saying, Sean, it's really hard. And I said, that's not my aim to just be a single mom. I would like for my child to have a father if we're able to. But I think for me, the fact that you can go into it thinking you'll be co-parents and things can change, surely from the initial perspective of actually I'm willing to do this alone, it's almost like if that then happens by default anyway, I'm a little bit more prepared. I know that might not make sense, but in my head, I'm like, that makes me more prepared than someone who thinks I'm going to have this other person there, and then unfortunately they don't, and then they're kind of lost if that circumstance were to happen. But I do agree that in an ideal world, it would be nice to have two parents, a mother, a father, and a wider family.